What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? How are you guys doing today? Crypto Airborne in the house. We got Twitter Spaces with VGX Heroes live tonight, starting in about 4 minutes or so. I just wanted to do a quick market update before we start. I got 8:57. Just gonna run through how the market's doing right now. Everything's looking pretty well. I'm gonna share my screen. We have currently, let me maximize this. There we go. We got, let me refresh it. So market is up about 2.62%. We got Bitcoin sitting at about 47,926. We got Ethereum killing it up 5%, sitting at $3,584. Cardano up 3.25%, sitting at about $2.46. XRP's up $1.11. Solana's still down after what recently happened, down 2.74%, sitting at about $154. Holidays today, there's a bunch of stuff going on today. The only things that seem kind of cool is National Double Cheeseburger Day, National Cheese Toast or grilled cheese. I don't know why they call it cheese toast. Linguine Day. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Crypto bubbles for the visual people out there. We got Zen up the most. Horizon up about 34% on the day. Sushi Swap, FTM, AVAX, Rune, Cake, everything's looking good. Also, we know we had the Golden Cross with Bitcoin, so that's very bullish. So hopefully we'll start seeing some uptick here soon. Crypto Fear and Greed Index. It's now neutral, 53. Yesterday we were at a 49. Last week we were Fear, 45. Last month we were Greed at a 72. It's like I always say, be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. So like I said, guys, we're just here waiting for the Twitter Spaces. I'm just going to keep this up, mute my mic. If you guys have any questions, feel free to do so. I think they actually just sent the notification. And we're live, folks. Come join VGX Heroes with Seth Token and streamed by myself. Let's see who's leading it. Floki? What's up, guys? How you guys doing today? What's up, Strika? What's up, True Ruler? I'm trying to figure out who is live right now or who's hosting. Is it VGX Heroes? Ah, yeah, there we go. All right, so we're going to listen in, guys.
All good, my guy. Look at you, moderator.
Excellent, excellent.
There we go. I'm going to mute my mic, guys. Just like I said, engage in the comments. I'll try to engage as much as I can with you guys.
I don't know if Piggy, or Dude, if you guys want to come up as speakers to start it off, or just, oh, we got Michael here. Nice. Hello, everyone. Hello.
Go ahead and give Michael co-host as well.
All right. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming. Thank you. We got Stone Cold here. All righty. All right. Once again, we're just getting started here.
Yeah, get Floki, and I think we're just missing Pig, and I think Thor's going to come up here and join us as well. But I think he's kind of moving and stuff, so he's going to be off and on. But
right.
Thanks everybody for joining so early. You know, we're getting more and more punctual people. Love to see it. Everybody throw up 100 that's in here. Yeah.
Gotta love the 100s.
There we go. How are you, Floki, my guy?
Solid detail, man. I just got back from walking the dog. I'm going to be working out while listening and participating. It's all good. How you doing?
Doing good, my guy. Yeah, made sure to go work out, hit the sauna and stuff before. Feeling good. Got a nice energy drink to keep me rolling. So, feeling good. What's going on, Zoe? think that's pretty much
Airborne.
good on.
Yeah, do we want Airborne up here, or
I think he's just going to be kind of watching over his stream and stuff. If he has any questions, he can just request and kind of relay questions from the YouTube people. But I think he's just kind of here to listen.
sounds
Son,
good?
Son, this is the first one that you've hosted on your account, not Floki. So typically, just let Pepe control who comes up and who comes down, because otherwise, if we all start to step on each other with that, that's when Twitter Spaces starts to freak out.
Alrighty, Roger.
All right. Yeah, give us just a few more minutes, get people joining in. If you could, definitely share the space, hit the bottom right tweet button, get this out there, get everybody in here. Got a good bit in here early. We're getting better and better. More and more people. Love to see it. Hey, Michelle, how are you? Love the emojis. Good to see everybody. Loving all the artwork out there. Looks so good. Shout out Duke and UT and everybody in the artwork community. Y'all are killing it, my guys.
That's a 100.
Yeah, not gonna lie, when I saw the artwork for tonight with you and me sitting there like the Godfather, and then your head on the mirror image of me, I was pissing my pants. That was
That was so perfect. I wasn't expecting it at all. Like, we were in our educational meeting, and I was like, "Wow, that is perfect. I gotta tweet that out." Even though I jumped the gun, they actually fixed it a little bit, but oh well. Crypto's hopping up here.
That's the best artwork I've seen all week since Piggy friggin' pixelated my Twitter profile picture and NFT'd me.
It's so funny. I mean, you are a shitcoin maxi, so.
That's me, man. Safe moon all day.
Hey, Peppy. Real quick for everybody, if you guys do have any questions and you want to write it via text, just go to my YouTube channel. I don't know if you're going to share the link. I got about 7 people watching, and someone already commented that they like that they have the opportunity to like write in a text. So if you guys want to write a text there, I can kind of relay it to the panel up on my end.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic if you want to just stay up here and just raise your hand emoji when you have a question.
Yeah. Or if one of you guys just want to pull it up if you're on multiple monitors, whatever, doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, technically I could do that actually. Give me just a second. Yeah, I got it pulled up. I can do that. It's kind of hard, you know. I get kind of busy, especially when we get a lot of questions, but I'll try and keep an eye on it.
Sounds good.
But yeah, we can go ahead and get this show moving. We're 4 minutes past the hour, so people that join in late, it'll be fine. They can catch up on YouTube. But hello, everybody. This is our weekly AMA. I'm your moderator, Pepe Stallone. Kind of some background. We're the VGX Heroes. This is our educational space. So the history behind this is our fallen hero, Reeves. This was kind of his main driving force. He really believed in, continuing education, helping the new guys, ask the questions that they want to ask without any pressure, any, judgment-free zone, just happy to answer anything, help people out. But we have a rotating moderator group up here. Everybody kind of has a different specialty and area they focus on in crypto. You can catch us all in the VGX Hero Discord. We're all in different channels in there. It's a great divide between a ton of different topics, so it's easy to look at it exactly what you want to talk about. It's a great way to get more information, ask the questions you want asked, and get answers from specific people that are knowledgeable in that area. So the link for that's in my bio, VGX Heroes bio, Floki, several other people. If you're not a VGX hero, we'd love to have you. We're just focused on education, positivity, and just making the world a better place. We all kind of came together when VGX was down in June-ish during the little mini bear market. We all came together, helped support Voyager. We're not directly associated with Voyager. We're just people that like the coin. None of this is going to be financial advice. All this is being streamed live on Crypto Airborne's YouTube channel. So if you have to get out early, you miss part of it, feel free to jump over there. Or if you just prefer YouTube, absolutely, that's cool with us. You can hop over there. For anybody that wants to ask questions, make sure you're on Twitter on mobile, because that's the only way it'll let you speak. If you have any questions, requests, and we'd love to get you up here. A little bit about me, I'm a younger guy. I just got into crypto and just went head first. I love it. I spend the majority of my free time researching any and everything, because it's a dark hole and you can never learn too much. So it's kind of my passion and hobby, and I love it. So that's a little bit about me. I can pass it over to Michael.
So yeah, I have a more entrepreneurial background, but I trade equities and options for fun, and then that led me into the crypto space. I'm primarily a Bitcoiner, but I do trade some alts here and there for the convexity of a trade. But my personal ethos is basically using all that as a mechanism to stack sets faster, and ultimately at the end of the day, pretty much primarily focus on Bitcoin. But I do trade the rest, and I'm not a toxic maxi. I'm not going to shit on shitcoiners or anything like that. I play around and I trade here and there. But ultimately, my passions as far as teaching people would be more so Bitcoin, or at least good OPSEC, things that permeate across the entire space. So like good OPSEC, best practices, good privacy, good security measures, things like that.
Yeah, he's, OPSEC. He's just been around a long time. He has a good variety of knowledge. So he's a great source to have up here. Lucky to have him. But we move over to Crypto Daddy Pig.
Hey guys, Crypto Daddy Pig here. My background, I just got in on a whim to crypto basically around January of 2020. Was just kind of in sports gambling at the time to make a couple extra bucks here and there, and got introduced to a Discord at the time that opened up a crypto section, and from there I just kind of immersed myself in crypto. I am in the chart section of the Discord. Like to draw charts, based off of just stuff that I've learned over time. Getting excited because we're finally starting to get enough data points on the new VGX chart on TradingView where I can actually start applying some setups. But I know we've been kind of bummed about steadily declining price on VGX lately. It looks like we've kind of got an opportunity here where we're breaking out of one descending line and pushing our way up. We'll see. It's kind of right at the testing point on a 4-hour. So going to be watching that, and love also Brennan, love seeing the art, love how many VGX hero artwork that we've got on these profile pics here. So it's awesome to see. We love your support, and happy to be here with you guys tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fantastic. Me and Mike are also always in the chart, but Crypto Daddy Pig, he has a different view than your kind of standard traditional. Like, I'm just a resistance breakout trader. I came from the options side, so it's just kind of how I look at it. But he has a great way of looking at it that's just completely diverse. So it's great insight, and you can never learn too much or have too many charts. So it's great insight to have. So also lucky to have him part of the community. But yeah, we move over to Stone Cold.
Hey guys, Stone Cold. I'm a big numbers guy. I love coming through the Cedar filings. If you've never taken a look at that, all Voyager's numbers are completely transparent and available to the public. I also love coming through the Etherscan addresses to find all the swapping and staking information from what's happened from 1.0 to 2.0. And self-proclaimed Excel whiz too. So I like to meld all that together and throw some nice numbers at everyone and give everyone a perspective to try and explain price action, whether it's good or bad, and help you make an informed decision. And tonight I'm drinking pickled bourbon aged 8 years. So let's have some fun.
Yeah, cheers to that. Can we get some hundreds for the crew up here? Let's get some hundreds going around.
I was thinking the same thing. Hundreds all around.
But yeah, Stone Cold, he's a great follow on Twitter. He posts some information you don't see from pretty much anybody else. And kind of something I saw interesting from him that I like to start off the show with is the staking numbers you saw.
Yeah, so someone in the Discord had kind of questioned what the staking numbers were for on staking. I looked for just the month of September, so we're September 15th today, and there were 2.1, almost 2.2 million tokens that were unstaked. And with some of the previous unstaking that happened in August, there were a lot of people that staked and unstaked, so those unstaking numbers are a little inflated. But these ones I went through and kind of spot checked a few, and they're all unique transactions. They're not staking, unstaking, and then restaking them. So that's about 35% of all tokens that have been unstaked since the portal opened back in late July. And these 15 days only make up 31% of the total days that the portal has been open. So there's definitely been a spike in unstaked tokens for the month of September. And you can kind of see that with the price action. I don't know if it explains all of it, but that was certainly a bit of an eye-opening number. I know there was some initial unstaking that occurred a couple days after the portal, which was the second highest total. And the first highest total was on 8/20. There was a huge spike in the unstaking for whatever reason there. But we've had pretty consistent high unstaking days going back to November 3rd, 4th. So hopefully that number has been going down the last couple days. So hopefully that trend continues and we shook out some weak hands that didn't like the news that had been coming out, and we're going to be seeing higher days. So yeah, and I have a nice little graph that compared all the staking and unstaking in September that I tweeted out today. So if you're a visual person, you want to take a look at that. There's a lot more. It's color coded with orange and blue, and you see a lot more of the orange for unstaking that's covering the graph. So I think that was pretty eye popping. But yeah, I just want to share that with you guys, and hopefully everyone can see a little relief coming soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I went ahead and pinned it to the top so everybody can scroll up and look at it. But just for the people that may not understand staking, could you kind of get into that a little bit of just what staking is?
Yeah, so it's basically anyone that's not on Voyager. If you're on Binance, if you're outside of a country, or well, there's only one country that Voyager operates in, but you can stake your tokens to the portal, and that's how you're going to earn the 7% interest. We don't have to do that. Voyager does it for us. So it's just all the people that are outside of where Voyager currently operates, which hopefully that's going to be expanding soon. That's another conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to get to Floki and VGX Hero Twitter page before we continue. So let's start off with Floki. Just a little bit about yourself, my guy.
What's up, guys? Y'all know me, the crypto Voyager Viking. Alongside Maximus and Aragorn, founded the VGX Heroes, and I'm just a Viking here to speak from the heart and learn from all these smart guys, just like you all. So excited to be here, and let's get into it.
Definitely so. And then I'll hop over to the VGX Hero Twitter page. Everybody drop that a follow, because like you see tonight, they're going to start hosting all these, and just we want to have all our community voice kind of go through that, community announcements to kind of centralize it all in one place. So like the information spread out over 10 pages. So definitely drop them a follow. But Sun Tzu, if you kind of want to say a hey to everybody.
All right, so I'm the wonderful Wizard of Oz here. Now, my actual hero is Sun Tzu. I'm, fortunate enough to have the time to take on kind of a social media role and help everybody out with, Twitter, Instagram, those types of things. We don't have a Facebook group yet, but they do have one called Voyager Traders. It's not hero specific, but if you have Facebook and haven't checked them out, it's a good one to look into. About me personally, I got into crypto maybe 2 years ago, basically when the Black Swan COVID event took everything down, and I got in. I was like, well, it's either going to zero or it's going up. So I had a good entry point there. And I'm just, thankful to have met all these people, because I've learned a lot, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, appreciate that. And once again, we're streaming live on Crypto Airborne's channel. He's doing a great job of going in between profiles and stuff, keeping up with what we're talking about. So definitely drop him a subscription and jump over there if you missed anything or just prefer YouTube. I'm going to open it up for anybody that has questions. Start requesting. We'd love to have you up here. Once again, shout out everybody that's joined. If you could share the space in the bottom right, tweet it out. and let's get around to hundreds, and then we'll get the show going. So I'll start off with a question to Michael. Kind of people in this area, they tend to not be the best in taxes. Could you just give some insight on like what you use for taxes, kind of help out with that, so people aren't bombarded at the last minute finding out how much they owe and stuff?
Sure. So obviously, we're not giving financial advice, not giving tax advice, but just a personal recommendation that I would make is, unless you are a professional yourself, I would definitely recommend using some sort of professional help, whether it be a CPA that you could trust, or there are a number of services out there. And personally, the two that you'll typically see circulated throughout the internet will be either taxbit.com or cryptotrader.tax, I think is the other one. Personally, my opinion on the two is I prefer TaxBit, because TaxBit, when I met the folks from both outfits down in Miami, the TaxBit operation seemed to be more like tax professionals that also understood crypto, whereas cryptotrader.tax seemed to be more so tech guys and crypto guys that were trying to backfill their tax knowledge. So as far as for me personally, with my own personal peace of mind, feeling like I was going to get a quality product that would survive an audit or anything that I might have to contend with the IRS on, I trusted TaxBit for my own personal use. And they have 3 tiers on there that you could use. For my own personal situation, I prefer the middle tier. I think the middle tier gives you the most value for your dollar, because it will give you a number of transactions that most people typically won't surpass in a year, and I think you get the benefits. I'm not 100% memorized on the differences between the tiers, but I think the biggest sell on the middle tier is the tax loss harvesting and tax loss optimization. So you can sync their platform to any brokerages or crypto exchanges that you use that have an API for a backend, which would be, I think BlockFi and Celsius have them. Voyager does not. So the one way that you can connect is via API on the back end, or for a platform that doesn't have that, like Voyager, what you would do is Voyager has a request website where you can request a tax CSV file for a set transaction range and a date history. So you just request that, and I just did it recently. I mean, I got it in less than 24 hours sent to my email, and then you just import that to the service. And what the service does is it helps you monitor in real time what your tax liability is. So first of all, something that a lot of people don't realize is that the lot basis for crypto is a bit different than your typical brokerage account for equities, as far as, you know, HIFO, LIFO, FIFO, and for those that don't know, that's like based on the order in which you purchased and sold lots of a certain cryptocurrency or any kind of asset. How are they going to handle the tax basis for the lot? So LIFO is last in, first out. So when you buy something and you sell out of it, whatever you bought last is what's sold first. FIFO is first in, first out. So whatever you bought first sells first. And HIFO would be highest in, first out. So whatever you paid the most for is what you sell first. And that has to do with establishing cost basis and gains, and a lot of that's going to really affect the math that goes into what your tax liability is for the year. So what TaxBit allows you to do is it allows you to select your tax lot method ideology that you want to follow, and you know there's no cut and dry way of what's right or what's wrong. The one recommendation that's typically prevalent in the space is that whatever you pick, you need to stay consistent with and continue, because you can't just do what's opportunistically beneficial for 1 year and then next year change it, and then the year after that change it. That's typically a surefire way to end up on the wrong side of a conversation with the IRS. So whatever tax lot method you choose, you should stick with. And what TaxBit does from there then is, once you've established your tax lot method ideology, you can then optimize all of your positions. So currently, there is no wash sale rule in crypto. So what that means is, in equities, currently, if you were to, you know, at the end of the year be down on a position and you get this bright idea, well, I'm just going to sell everything at a loss and then buy it right back. You can't do that in equities or in traditional markets, because there's a wash sale rule that stipulates that you have to stay outside of that position for 30 days before re-entering it, or else you can't claim the loss. Crypto does not have that currently, although this week it was a hot topic of conversation that they would like to institute a wash sale rule for crypto as well. So what has happened up until now is you can cash in a loss if you're in a position that has gone down at all. You could simultaneously sell and rebuy and book that loss to offset any current gains in your tax year. And what TaxBit has is a tax loss harvester where you can look position by position and basically just hit the optimize button, and it'll tell you if you wanted to optimize this position for tax basis. It gives you a recipe that's a blueprint for what to do. So it'll tell you, like, for example, if you owned 1 Bitcoin and the recommendation was, it'll be very simple and formulaic. It'll be a recipe. It'll be sell 0.25 Bitcoin at market to capture this loss, and then you can immediately rebuy it. So it'll tell you down to like the how much you could buy to capture how much of a gain or how much of a loss. Those are all recommendations made by the software. So that's what I liked about it. Different strokes for different folks. It's not a one size fits all solution for everyone. Some folks may dislike it for any number of reasons, but for my personal needs, I liked it. And for anybody that's not aware of it, I liked it at least. Not that I'm necessarily promoting it, but at least increasing people's awareness that products like that exist, because if you don't know that they exist, then it can be a pretty daunting task trying to figure out your tax liability in the crypto space. And it may leave some to err on the side of caution and potentially overpay in tax liability, or it could make some, think that it's going to be so confusing that they accidentally get tripped up and find themselves on the wrong side of a tax penalty in the future should they not pass an audit. So that's my basic spiel on taxes. I think everybody should be aware of the ramifications. I've talked to a lot of younger investors in the space that, everybody's been new to something once, but I've gotten a lot of naive questions like, well, I sold, but I didn't withdraw it from my Voyager account, so that's not going to be cap gains. Yeah, it is. Especially in the crypto space, even spending cryptocurrencies are a taxable event because, or transferring between, like if Voyager, everything has to go back to US dollar before going into another currency, but some of the other exchanges have crypto to crypto pairs. And some folks think that just because you went crypto to crypto and you never converted back to dollars, that's not a taxable event. But in fact, it actually is, because in the eyes of the IRS, you went to the dollar value of the one asset and then back from the dollar value into the second asset. So any time you go crypto to crypto or you spend crypto, Lightning is becoming more popular for the expenditure of crypto online. A lot of crypto-based websites, especially Bitcoin websites, are going to accept Lightning. Or, for example, in El Salvador, with them making Bitcoin legal tender, you can spend Bitcoin on the Lightning Network there. But any expenditure of Bitcoin, until the rules maybe get changed with some of this legal tender stuff going on, any expenditure of Bitcoin is immediately then a taxable event. So you'd be responsible for any gains based on how much you spent and what your cost basis was on that asset. So now that I've bored you all to tears, we can talk about something else.
I was about to say, as exciting as taxes is, it's very important, and it's something you need to, stay on top of, be aware of, especially if you're doing a lot of quick scalps, quick trading, just definitely understand the results of what could happen from that. But we'll move on to something a little bit more exciting. We had that commercial come out today. I'm jumping over to Floki. What do you think about the commercial today?
I mean, it's awesome, right? Front and center, kind of what it does at a high level. Kind of the things that, as VGX holders get us excited because it introduces the coin. I think Voyager, this is my personal opinion, has to be delicate with how they promote VGX. You don't want to pander your own coin too hard, for people that, aren't necessarily interested in it. Don't want to shove it in people's faces, but it's more important to educate them on what it can do, which I feel was the focus of that video and why I liked it so much.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And for me, it was a good contrast between the Gronk commercial that was, more lighthearted, more Gronk. It catered to your newer investors, younger investors, and it wasn't very BGX specific or much of any crypto specific. It was more just Gronk is in crypto type. So it was a good contrast to get a very more formal, short, specific, just about the token. So I liked it, especially with how the Gronk went last week. It was great to see, kind of a different view of it.
Yeah, I think you nailed it with the
Yeah,
word balance, because I think that it what I noticed was that it balanced out a lot of the people that were bitching and moaning about the Gronk commercial not checking every box that they wanted to see it checked. So I think that what stood out for me the most about today's little spot that ran was that it had support amongst some of the people that I've seen be the biggest critics. And yeah, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and I'm not going to criticize if the Gronk piece didn't speak to you, but I saw a lot of the people that are typically just a stick in the mud that had nothing but positive things to say about today's spot.
yeah, I think it was, that being sort of like their first commercial is probably what kind of steered people away. They were like, "Oh, what is this?" But as you guys said, the balance is important. It's showing that they can post on a mainstream level, and introduce people, show that it's a new fun thing, and then for those that are, willing to take that extra step and stick around, they come back with the details in a nice short little package like that. I liked it.
Yeah, definitely so. Stone Cold and Piggy, y'all got an opinion on it?
Yeah, I loved it. I'm the numbers guy. I Gronk with a backwards hat and tank top and a dog with a chain that has VGX that I didn't even see. So if I didn't see it, I don't know who else is going to see it. But yeah, this one was clean. It explained all the benefits of the VLP. I loved it. I think what people were wanting, I put up a poll back when we had the Thursday Night Football opener where we had the handwritten VGX end zone sign. That was a $2 poster, and it was universally loved on Twitter by the community. Whereas with the Gronk commercial, you had a lot of people complaining. So I think this perfectly defined what a lot of the community wanted to see to help get the VLP going and get the benefits out there.
Yeah, I also enjoyed it. I'm kind of a visual person, so to me, what I kind of like is that one. I mean, the purple and white stuff really pops, and it looks good, and it looks clean, and it makes you interested to look at it. I mean, some of these other trading platforms, you go on their websites and you look at their information, and it looks like some junior high school kid put it together. I really think that everything visually pops on it. I did like that, when they started, or basically there's this little spot where they start saying earning interest on your favorite tokens. I think that opens it up for potential for other tokens to be added to the VLP program moving forward, because it wasn't just an Ethereum and a Bitcoin and a USDC token on that spot. So that's cool. And I'm a big podcast guy, and a lot of this, audibly sounds like it could be a spot at the beginning of a podcast or something where they can use it, in multiple different spots. I mean, yes, the visuals are good, but I also think that the way they put it together and the way it's worded was excellent.
Yeah, I agree. And just tagging on to Stone Cold's point and kind of the Gronk situation, Voyager, they kind of have to play a fine line, because they are still a small company with user base overall compared to the big dogs. So Gronk is a good get people in, get people trading, because with it being a brokerage, there definitely is benefits to just getting numbers in, because the people that are high frequency trading on there, Voyager's taking that scalp of it, so it's good for the overall platform. So while it wasn't the most ideal in my eyes to have this commercial today, it makes it, I'm perfectly fine with it. As long as we get our good VGX, very formal. I'm kind of a business minded guy, and I even talked with Michael about it. I was like, I just want to see almost like a very formal, like, business presentation, just to lay it out there for the people that aren't just kind of your Gronk fans who are just. But that's a great audience, huge fan base he has, and then he balled out on Thursday Night Football. So, it's been a good week for advertisement. I can't complain in the slightest.
Yeah, and I think that there's you touched on it a little bit. It's also been a touchy subject as far as the audiences that are targeted, whether it be SHIB or any other community. But at the end of the day, that those bring in the new accounts. Everybody wants to see a ton of funded accounts, and then everybody complains about the way that they get there. But I think part of what will ultimately be the secret sauce will be hopefully trying to draw in communities like that, and then once you've got them in the door, also get them to diversify into spaces where they're going to stick around in through a bear market. Because the fear that I'd have if they came in and they stayed in some of the high volatility lottery ticket kind of shitcoins is, and I don't mean to offend by that. It's just my vernacular, but I would hate to see the people that stay in those too long then get a bad taste in their mouth or potentially get wrecked in terms of AUM. I'd like to see them come in the door, get educated in the space, and if that's the catalyst that gets them in the door, and then they get educated and maybe diversify into something they're going to be able to hold through a bear market, or especially if we can try to maintain the bull long enough to then also have equities and options on the platform at that point. I would love to see a perfect world where you draw in all these people from every walk of life, but then educate them and offer them opportunities to have things to diversify into, to move their assets around regardless of whatever's happening in the market.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that tags into just in-app marketing for the VGX token. Like just every new account, make sure there's something there, kind of getting their foot in the door of VGX and kind of the interest booster and what all the different things it offers. So you get these new people who just find these big communities on Twitter and they get into VGX, and then from there they start seeing the benefits of VGX and just the interest payouts on just some of these main coins that they're just used to just holding in general, and now they're earning free coins just for holding on the platform. We all know the app's sticky, so it's just getting the people in the door, and then once they're in their door, kind of showing them everything the app offers and will offer in the future. But Chris, thanks for hopping up here. You got a question for us?
Yeah, I've been involved with a couple of significant branding efforts in my former life. And I just got to tell you, I thought they just hit the ball out of the park with it. The amount of work that's done in the background leading up to it is extremely significant. And as kind of the first out the door national branding effort, I understand, Steve has probably been involved with these in his former life at E-Trade. I thought they did a fantastic job. They got the point across. They're reaching out to a specific audience. And I think this is something they're going to build upon if they continue down this path. And I don't think they could have really done it any better.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks for hopping up here and saying that, and especially with your background, that was very insightful. But I agree, and for them to have a commercial that was kind of more generic, just getting people in the door, and then also having a commercial for the target audience, it was a fantastic first two commercials of Mars.
Yeah, absolutely. And real quick, the other thing, I don't want this to sound wrong. It made themselves look like a much bigger company than they may be at this point in time, which I think is huge going into this market.
Yeah, I think it definitely was a pretty legit commercial, and I think, as I first saw it, I was having thoughts on it that I couldn't really articulate, and then hearing the way Piggy described, the interest booster on your favorite coins, it kind of hit the nail on the head. Was that what stuck out at me is that it was made in a way that seemed versatile to not have to kind of reinvent the wheel if they were to change things. Like nothing in that spot becomes untrue if they add layers to the VLP, or if they change little minutia of how certain things work. It wasn't this spot that then is going to be rubbed in their face because, well, you said this and then that. It was very calculated, I thought, in terms of the language that they used, so that it was versatile and it could adapt as far as how they go forward.
Definitely so. But thanks for sharing that, Chris. Zoe, see you hopped up here. You got a question for us?
Nope, I'm good.
How's everybody doing tonight? What's up, Stallone? Shout out to you, bro.
Thanks, my guy. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Trying to adjust over here in Dallas. Haven't had time much to, I guess, invest in crypto news as much as I like. I've been super busy over here. So this question's kind of pertaining to, I guess, the recent downtrends of Bitcoin and Ethereum and all the altcoins recently. If someone can explain, maybe why that's happening, that little minor crash we had, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I can touch on it for a little bit, then kind of push it to Michael and Stone Cold. But in crypto, oftentimes when people think something's obvious, the opposite happens. And leading up to the El Salvador legal tender, if you check the liquidity or the longs and shorts on Bitcoin, it was across the board pretty much 95% or higher on all exchanges long. And when that happens, big investors and whales, it's an easy scalp for them because they could either trade the opposite, do a short, or they could flash crash it, knowing that all the liquidity is just going to get drained and people are going to get liquidated with their longs. So it'll crash it down so they can sell and then lower their average a few thousand. And it was so dramatic. I mean, it dropped 10,000 in a matter of an hour. So it's just in crypto, it's never the obvious is going to happen. It's if you think things are looking negative, you'll quickly reverse, and if things are looking too positive, you kind of get humbled. But I'm gonna let Michael touch on that some more, then pass it over to Stone Cold.
Yeah, I think leverage is the name of the game there. And assuming we're talking about this recent downturn, if you were talking about the bigger summertime downturn, then by all means correct me. But if we're talking about this recent one, we touched on the math behind the leverage last week. So you've got a lot of these foreign exchanges that are allowing up to 100x leverage when trading, Bitcoin and most cryptocurrencies. So if you put that into perspective, any Joe Schmo with $500 in their pocket could take 100x levered long on a $50,000 Bitcoin and in effect own the upside of an entire Bitcoin, provided that it goes up and only up. But what isn't factored in is the margin for error is razor thin, because if that Bitcoin were to retrace from 50,000 at the time to 49,600 even, it wouldn't even get all the way to 49.5 at the point where they've zeroed out their entire investment. It would be somewhere just north of that their position would get liquidated because of what's considered insurance on those platforms. So they liquidate a good portion of people slightly higher than their break even point, so that in the event that there's a flash crash and they don't liquidate people fast enough, they don't ask people to go into their pocket more than taking 100% realized loss. So the 100x always sounds great, provided that you've made the right directional move at the exact right time and you time the landing right. You know when to get out. But most people don't, and most parties that can manipulate the market to their benefit do know that nobody else is going to be able to time it right. So when you can monitor on-chain metrics and monitor, how levered people are getting in a certain direction, when everybody finds themselves on one side of the trade and they're using leverage to do so, it becomes a no-brainer for the folks to just play the contrarian move and flush the toilet to the other direction. And then they flush out all those levered longs and they scoop up everything on the cheap and they rebuild the cycle back over again. So it's this lather, rinse, repeat move that's been going on for years. And the 100x leverage in this space just amplifies it. So it's the same curve that you'll find in really any asset class that you can trade on leverage. But the amplitude of that curve is just exaggerated because you could trade 100x and it's so unregulated in this space.
Yeah, and I believe it's something like 2.3 billion was liquidated in a matter of 30 minutes from the initial crash. So when that much money is liquidated, that's Bitcoin being sold on the open market from these exchanges, from what it was tied into these positions. So it's just an unfortunate thing, but we rebounded fast and we're touching 48,000 again. So it'll just come with time. But the resiliency of Bitcoin compared to the past, I mean, we've gone through about as bearish news as we could have gone through, and we're survived, and we're still at 48K. So on the zoomed out scale, we're still in a great position. And October is a good month for crypto, and September is typically a bad month. So we're setting up really nice for an end of the year. But Stone Cold, do you have any more to add on that?
Sorry, can I just one thing quick? Sorry to interrupt you guys. If we could just get some fists up for Chris. He hopped into our little impromptu spaces last night, and he just became VGX hero today. So I'm glad he's here and with us. So thank you guys.
Shout out Chris. I didn't know that. Glad to have you, my friend, and thanks for coming up here.
Yeah, and welcome, Zoe. I'm in Denton, just north of you, so not too far away. But I'm not as big of a macro guy as Stallone and Michael are. They explain it better than I ever could. I was buying Bitcoin last year for a couple $1,000, trading it back and forth, and lost it all. I learned my lesson. I picked VGX because I looked at the numbers and I did my research, and I'm confident of what those numbers tell me. So, I was buying at $6, $5, $4, and I'm just confident in that, and the rest is just noise to me, really. So, if you do your research and you're confident in what you're investing in, personally, I'm not paying attention to all the up and down. The recent crash did not faze me one bit. I looked at my phone, put it down, and was back to going to work, drinking, eating, just living life. It did not affect me at all.
Yeah, and I will say
it's definitely getting.
as far as
You can go ahead.
sorry, as far as on-chain metrics or getting a sense of when some of that stuff's going to happen, a lot of us typically are charting typical TA, but as far as some resources that I would highly suggest people keep an eye on, that you've got the fear and greed index for each of the assets that is pretty easy to pull up on TradingView. I would also suggest good follows in the Bitcoin space, and being that everything follows Bitcoin typically in those flushes, would be Willy Woo and Will Clemente. So anybody that's not following those two guys are pretty much writing the book on on-chain analysis, because there's entirely new and different metrics that are in that space that most of the crypto quant folks are trading on. I would say almost in parity with TA, or somewhat growing to be even more popular than TA, with a number of new indicators and a number of new just things to look at that you wouldn't normally see unless it's on something that's an open and distributed ledger system where you can see every transaction and everything's completely transparent. It's pretty incredible the work that those two guys are doing.
Absolutely. And I'll second on Will Clemente. Like, he has some great insight, and on-chain is some of the most fascinating stuff you'll ever see, because it breaks down Bitcoin on a per Bitcoin trade basis, and you can get some great insight on potential future moves. Like right now, he's talking big on how the supply of Bitcoin is at its lowest point, and I think it's 3 or 4 years on exchanges. So kind of looking at the grand scheme of things, a few whales come in, a few big buys, and not even big buys, the retail keep chopping up, snag it up little by little. The supply is getting illiquid, and when that happens, it drastically increases the price from just pure supply squeeze, and just there's not enough tokens to go around, so the price moves a lot easier than when there's a lot on these exchanges. So definitely great follows. But Drew, I see you hopped up here. You got a question for us?
Yeah. Thank you for letting me in. Quick question. So a lot of this is good information. It sounds like we're explaining it to a trader, though. How would you explain these concepts to an investor?
I would stick with, things are looking good right now. I like Voyager for the interest. Just buy, hold, collect the free coins. When the market's down, it's a better chance to add more coins. But I'm on the pure bull run thesis. I'm still pro June. We're looking good till June. So I think we're far from our top. Not financial advice, but I think we're gonna, especially starting in October. I'm a firm believer that's going to be a really good month for us. We got a lot of good news coming in. So I just, you've been patient to this point. Keep holding, and it's going to pay off for you here real soon.
Sure. Yeah. And if I can I follow that up with, like, what do you tell the person that's used to buying index funds or, large cap equities? How do you convince them to get into crypto, and what does that mean for them moving forward? Like, where's the real upside for them in terms of an investor more so than a trader? Because we can all be traders and make money, but like a buy and hold type person, how do you get them into crypto?
Michael, you can go ahead and answer this.
So I'm going to mute you a minute because you got a lot of background noise, just so everybody can hear.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's all right. So I would say absolutely, without a doubt, if you've got somebody that's typically an S&P index fund guy, I would pull up a chart of the S&P over the past, since 1971, essentially denominated in dollars. And then I would pull up that exact same chart denominated in gold, and I would point out to them that any of their gains are really a fool's errand. They're completely fugazi gains because they're denominated in a U.S. dollar that's been inflated to shit. So if you compare that to any source of sound money like gold, it's really a straight line. It's a horizontal line from the left side of the chart to the right side of the chart, and then show them what has happened since the crypto space has come into play, and now denominate those S&P gains against crypto, or denominate the crypto gains against them, the S&P in that same time frame, and they'll see the convexity of the trade. And as far as educational resources, I'm not sure if you're on our Discord, but I would highly suggest if you're in there, pull up the resources page. I just recently organized it all and PDF'd a bunch of it, but I've got a curated playlist that I use to essentially orange pill folks from the TradFi world. And I just was recently joking with a bunch of people, but I just bought boxes of the Bitcoin Standard by the case, because regardless of whether or not you're ultimately a Bitcoiner or an altcoin enthusiast, whatever the case may be, I think the first 7 chapters of that book should be required reading for every man, woman, and child on earth, because it just explains the history of money and how we basically got to where we are. There's a few key points that are easy to make. Just look at what's happened since the COVID crisis. I think it's upwards of 40% of all US dollars in circulation have been printed in the last 18 months. There's some absurd talking points that just jump off the page. But there was also a documentary that was released yesterday by Swan that does an effective visual representation of kind of orange pilling normies and teaching them the history of money all the way up to the benefits of the crypto space, all in, I think, like a 38-minute video. So I'll try to find that, and I'll pin it to the spaces here in a moment, and know that it's focused on Bitcoin, but the history of money aspect of it, and basically where we're going with fiat currency is very well highlighted, and it translates across the space.
Yeah, and my 2 points on it is for the Voyager side. Everybody knows the dollar. So on Voyager, on USDC, if you just explain it's 1-to-1 with the dollar, it's just the crypto version of it, you earn 9%. The S&P 500's average return over the last 100 years, I believe, 6.5%. So you beat the S&P returns just by holding a US dollar. And then that's an easy entry. And then another is, if you just look at diversifying, as most investors do, if you just put 5% of your net worth into Bitcoin, a simple diversification, that 5% can double your whole net worth theoretically. Well, compared to index funds, 5% of your net worth, I mean, it'll have just slow gains, but there's no other asset on there that exists that you have the potential to multiply your net worth with just a 5% allocation compared to the stock market and even gold, anything else. So it's almost a trade of, even if you don't believe it, why miss the boat for the potential? Because everybody looks at Bitcoin, everybody knows where it came from and how much gains there's been made. Even if you believe it's a Ponzi or anything like that, why not invest? Why not just have that slight diversification? If you're wrong, you win. If you're right, you can say, I was right. I didn't go all into it. So those are 2 good entry points from my point of view.
If I may, a shameless Voyager simplified plug for an investor. InvestVoyager.com and all the investor resources that they have that you could share with people and just sort of start people's journey to researching, VGX and the Voyager stock, just by looking at their timeline and just publicly what are all those catalysts that are coming, depending on how long you hold or invest. I imagine when you say invest, at least a year, right? They give you some pretty good catalyst events potentially to be excited about and worth investing. Expansion, debit, and all the other stuff that I don't want to beat a glorious dead horse here, with all of the awesome leadership that they have to execute. So that's my little shameless plug for Voyager as an investor.
Yeah, Drew, that answer your question, or you got any follow up with that?
Yeah, again, sorry for all the background noise. I think so, but like for me, I have my CFP for reference. I'm thinking, like, if you're talking layman's terms to someone, explain the upside to Bitcoin that you couldn't get out of an index fund or dollar cost average, again, the blue chip equities or growth stocks, like say AMD, a Penn National, something you can buy and hold for a long time. Because I think that's what a lot of people, that's where the disconnect comes in, right? It's like, okay, I can get into something I'm not very familiar with, or I can buy something that almost feels tangible in the sense that you see what that company's doing. So I'm going to go on mute again because it's really loud. I apologize again for that, but kind of explain that from your perspective.
So
yeah, no problem.
I think that you end up having to, like, if you were not in the crypto space, I think you have to chase those kind of assets. I mean, I own a mixed bag of equities, including the ones you just mentioned. I think you have to do that just to maintain par with the loss of spending power of the U.S. dollar. So I feel like those gains are completely synthetic, and those are projected upon people as if they are real, but they're only real compared to holding cash savings and losing spending power. To me, those gains in AMD or Spider index funds or anything like that, those are neutral bets to me. To me, those are like I treat those like a money market to basically just maintain par. And I think once people understand the convexity that you are actually preserving your store of value and you're getting it on an asset that is not fully reached equilibrium yet. I think if you look at the charts, basically understanding that ultimately when Bitcoin reaches equilibrium, it'll be just as boring as the current S&P index fund. But it's not there yet. So if you understand the scope of how early we are, there's only, and saying this all as a Bitcoiner, but there's 21 million Bitcoin. There's over 50 million millionaires in the world. So there's not even enough Bitcoin for every millionaire on earth to own a half of one. There's a number of things like that can put into perspective how early we are in the cycle. So ultimately, it could be an apples to apples comparison of S&P index funds now versus what Bitcoin will be when it reaches equilibrium. But you are so far early in that period of time where it has so much more to run just to reach equilibrium. Look at what it'll be $500,000 per Bitcoin at the point where it flippins the gold value on Earth. There's so much runway ahead of it that it hasn't reached that equilibrium yet. So what you're getting is that all of that unrecognized alpha between now and that point of equilibrium.
Yeah, I agree. And some more points on it. Bitcoin, it's 10 years old now, and over that 10 years, it has an average annual return of 230%. People and it started off as an illegal, illicit currency. It started off as a Ponzi scheme, and it's just now starting to. I mean, every day the price flashes on CNBC. It's getting legitimized. The country now has it as a registered currency. So, and then to tag on, the whole market cap of crypto, I think, has just touched 2 trillion again. Gold's a $9 trillion market cap. Silver's a $7 trillion market cap. Bronze, I believe, is a $3 trillion market cap. And that's just 3 metals. It can get into a lot of different aspects, and it's just beginning to get semi-legitimized. And now it started off as this, drug money, illegal money, and then a Ponzi scheme. Now it's it's only a currency of a small country. That's legitimized it more than anybody thought ever imaginable. So to just get to this point, and in El Salvador, even though it's just that one country, Walmart's accepting it, McDonald's accepting it, Starbucks is accepting, and it's working. It's flawlessly working as a transactory coin. So, we are very much in the beginning. It's a hard thing to bring up. I mean, I've seen firsthand. It's not easy, but it's something that you have to bring up, and then you kind of have to keep throwing points out there over time, and then people start to kind of grasp the idea. It's not an easy conversation. We've all tried to have it with people, and people we want to get in, they don't do it. So we've been there. It's a slow. You just got to be patient with people, come at them with the facts, and then every fact they try to counter. Yeah, ETFs are theoretically safe because everybody says. So a lot of value. So I see it as almost an inflationary trade and a hedge trade. If you just don't believe in it, it's almost like better be wrong than miss out.
Yeah.
Because a true 5% allocation can change your life in Bitcoin if it happens. But if it doesn't, a 5% allocation isn't going to kill you.
Yeah, and I would also say that another angle that most ETF folks or flat-footed equities traders kind of digest fairly easily is even the most ardent ETF or even an active trader in equities understands and typically respects the value of a safe haven asset when there's a flight to safety, whether it be gold or something of the like, right? So everybody understands and recognizes there's a place in the world for a gold bug. And what I think what I've seen be an effective kind of conversion therapy for people, especially during the pandemic, was many of the folks that would normally flee to safety and go to that safe haven asset of gold took this as like an opportunity, like, well, this is a black swan event. Let me try this. And I saw anybody that I knew that was typically a gold bug that even risked a similar allocation to Bitcoin in that same time frame, realized that this is so much more than a safe haven asset. This is more than just gold 2.0. And then once they actually had skin in the game and they saw the convexity of it, they never looked back. So anybody that I know that's made that jump has not then kind of had that recidivism to thinking as a flat-footed equities trader. There's many that will still hedge, and I think that that's just a risk profile tolerance and whatever everybody's appetite is for risk, and you can make a case for that. But I don't know many people that got into the crypto space and figured out whatever their reason was to get started, and then were like, yeah, I'm going to retreat, unless they got wrecked in 2017 investing in bullshit.
I would add to that as well. Even if you can't convince them to allocate into crypto specifically, there's always the option of adding crypto stocks to your portfolio. More and more are becoming publicly traded. Voyager, I believe, was the first, if not one of the first. But you've got stocks like MicroStrategy, Coin, etc. All those where they're heavily invested in crypto, but you're not actually buying crypto. So if they're too hesitant to actually buy Bitcoin, which would be unfortunate, there are other options to kind of dip your toes in.
Yeah, and there's a Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. It's for the price, you get a pretty good amount of what's the word I'm looking for? Can't think of the word, but you get a good exposure. You get a lot of exposure to Bitcoin. I think it's BTCC, I believe.
GBTC.
GBTC.
Yeah, GBTC for the Bitcoin one, ETHE for the ETH one, and there's a bunch of other shitcoin ones too. But those two are trade. They've had a really hard time trying to pin NAV to the asset. So they've traded at a premium, then they've traded at a discount to NAV. They've not done a very good job at pegging to the underlying asset price, but they are institutionally investable because they trade under a more acceptable ticker.
Are those closed-end funds?
I could not comment with confidence that I would get there. I believe so, but I would say do your own research on that. If you have the option, if you're inclined to buy Bitcoin and you have the option to either buy Bitcoin or buy GBTC, I would buy Bitcoin. I would think the only reason that one would buy GBTC is because they have to trade within the confines of a brokerage account.
So I know they do lockups, but they do open it up and you can get your coins from it if you have a certain allocation, because I do know they open it up. So I'm not sure the exact process of that, but it's every quarter when it gets unlocked and everybody makes a big deal of how many coins are potentially could hit the market. So I do know you can get them out of it.
Yeah, well, there's a disconnect there too, though, because it's not that you ever get the coins back. You basically free up the shares. It's a share lockup in the ETF or the whatever it is, ETN, ETF, whatever kind of product it is. So there's a big allure in July, or there's big misconception in July that this is going to dump all these coins on the market, but it's not actually freeing up the coins for sale. But I would much rather specific sector. I would much rather give people the tools to say, these are some of the sources that I would trust. In a space that's built on verify, don't trust. These are kind of a mixed bag for you to draw your own inferences from. And then once you feel confident that you understand the space, you can make your own decision. And I don't know anybody that's really done the work. Anybody that's willing to put in the time and put in the work to do the research can usually make pretty well-informed decisions on their own. It becomes a no-brainer at that point, but it's a much more effective orange pilling than saying, just buy this because the number goes up. I would much rather see people understand it.
Can we get hundreds all around for doing your homework, doing your own research, hundreds all around?
Absolutely. But yeah, Drew, I see you unmuted. How about that? Did I do a little bit better job?
I think he may be dropping down.
I see that. Okay. We got any more questions? Anybody want to come up here and share anything? That was a good conversation. A good conversation we haven't really had on these AMAs. So that was a good one.
Yeah, no, it looks like he got dropped, unfortunately, but he was a great questioner. I think that's one of the best that we've brought up on stage so far. But if we don't have anybody coming up on stage right now, Pep, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, shoot it.
So take me out of my comfort zone because I'm getting my balls busted as an anti NFT guy. So provided that I had an appetite to learn about NFTs, what exactly do you look at to differentiate? Everybody says do your own research. They all look like JPEGs that I could right-click save as. I'm completely ignorant in the space. Explain to me how I would even start to do my own research and what exactly am I looking for? I don't even understand the characteristics that would derive value in a space. Is it just somebody catches lightning in a bottle and you're lucky? Or, I've seen some where everything looks the same, but there's one little minutia that gets changed and then those derive value. So go ahead and teach me.
Yeah, so for the people that don't know, I'm pretty big into NFTs. I enjoy them. I like the digital art. What can I say? But a quick breakdown of NFTs. They're non-fungible tokens. What that means is basically they're illiquid. So a fungible token is something that you can use transactionally, but non-fungible tokens, it's like these art. So the value is derived from the seller and buyer and what they make the price essentially. So what I look for in NFTs personally, I'm not going to get into specific projects, but first of all, the community and who's behind it. So you look at who created the project. If they're a complete anon, you can't find anything about it, then it's a red flag. So if it's a semi-public or a big name behind it, so that's a good start. Then I hop over to the Discord. If it's a good, friendly community, got a lot of people there passionate about it, that's a great sign. So that's two things I look for. Then you look at the art, which that's kind of the start off that gets you in the door. But if you like the art, because when you chase the pumps and what you think is going to make a lot, that's when you buy at the top and you lose money. So start off with find something you like. If you like it, then buy it. Because if there's a good team, good community, because that's what matters. You're buying it in hopes theoretically it goes up, but the value is just what the buyers and what you think it is. So start off with getting things you like. You want to have it as a profile picture. You want to hold this. That's a good start. And then within NFTs, there's different aspects. There's the pure art side where everything looks the same. So maybe there's 10 of the same NFT and that's it. So with the blockchain, you can limit and you can know exactly how many there are. So if you like a specific photographer, for example, they can make one pieces that you buy it, you like it, you're the only owner of it. And then the value can kind of go as the artist develops. Or there's projects that there's 10,000 of them, but they're all different and they have different properties. And this is like a pre-planned out system that you can check the rarity of each property. So if you like the art, you like the people behind it and the team behind it, you can chase specific properties that you like within the art. So maybe, for example, let's just say generic people. Some of these people have suits, some of them have crazy hair, some of them have a cig in their mouth. Whatever property you like stands out to you, things like that, that's what you go for. Or you can go for the rarity factor because maybe it has a 1% property. So there's more intrinsic value with rare properties within this project. So as the project grows and develops a bigger community, people go towards these rare properties. And then there's also tools built in that you can get NFTs put on, like one is Rarity Sniper and things like that. So it's a mathematical equation based off these properties that rank them from one to the last. So you can get a true placement of where your specific NFT ranks within that project. And then there's utility factors. So one of the bigger ones is Dogepound. You can own, they have a first and second generation, or Spacepunks is doing it actually. So you can own the first and second generation. And then with that, there's a royalty built in every sale. So the owners get the kickback percentage. And then with that, they're giving it back through a staking. So you hold both of their projects, you don't sell them, you get a kickback out of interest. And there's a ton of creative things, like some of them offer the utility of, if you're a holder, you can vote to add new art collections within your community and have your own NFT art gallery that's owned by the community. So there's a lot of creative things that are happening, but it's a very early space. And I'm not going to hide the fact that very well 95% of all projects out there could not exist. But there's definitely value that comes, and there's projects that will stick around and that will do crazy things. There is crazy money coming into these, and these projects are getting a lot of money, and they're building a reputation, but they're also building, like Doge Pound has built a metaverse world because they've made so much money off the project that they're just building on top of it. So a lot of great things are going to come from these projects, and it's going to help, move the cyber world and the crypto world so much faster, because you're not having these traditional companies to rely on. The people that are passionate about the communities and are passionate about crypto are building things that they want, and that draws to people, that people come and build community within these NFT communities, and they love it, and it's like friend groups, and the community is very positive and nice. There's obviously pump and dumps just like any other token, but a lot of it, and people say money laundering things, and who knows, I'm not going to comment on that, but there's some strong communities out there. People like the art, so that's why I'm a fan of it. I'm a very positive person, and it just really appeals to me, and I like where the NFTs are headed and everything that's coming with them.
I would add to that as well. I'm kind of in the same boat as Michael. It's not something I'm super knowledgeable about. It's not really something that I'm interested in investing in, but I love the technology and the idea of it. Even for right now, if it's just these images and whatnot that's popular, I think in the future there's going to be a lot of things that can capitalize and benefit from the technology. As far as sports goes, I was an 80s baby, and there's a lot of times as a kid I was collecting cards, and it's essentially the same idea. There's only so many made of each one, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm excited to see where it goes in that aspect, as far as what people are going to be able to do with the actual tech.
For sure. I'm also
Yeah.
an 80s baby, and I was a big card collector growing up too. And if you just look around the blockchain, right now, Topps just started to do I think they're connecting with Avalanche to release like MLB NFTs. And I don't know if anybody remembers growing up and collecting Garbage Pail Kids cards, which were essentially mocks of like actual branding, almost in a Mad TV type style. Well, Topps is going to be planning on doing that as well with Avalanche. So you've got that, a lot of cool projects for digital card games. I don't think they've gotten to Magic the Gathering yet, but there's a company out there called Parallel that's doing this, what looks to be a very cool digital card game, and those things are selling like hotcakes right now. So for every little cute JPEG there's also these other opportunities that I think major players are going to come into the market, and digital sell a lot of these things, and it could be very interesting moving forward.
Yeah, definitely so. And another thing is, on just the pure, pump and dump style, with these tokens that are appearing, especially a lot of the BNB tokens, they have crazy billion plus token supply. With these art, it's usually a reasonable 10,000s, usually 15,000s, usually the highest you'll see. So it's not hard to have a strong community and keep a price on it, because you know the supply, and it's a lot more manageable. And even if it loses all value, if you find projects that you truly like the art behind it, at least you have the token, it's in your wallet, it's there forever, compared to some tokens that you just have a picture of the token that 100,000 other people just lost money on as well. So even in the barest of bare cases, you do still have the fundamental art, and a lot of things are going to come to NFTs. I mean, I'm a true believer. There's going to be picture frames that you can just they will connect to your wallets and it'll just show your NFTs. There's going to be displays that'll show your NFTs. So we're still, I mean, we're still early in crypto in general, much less NFTs. But marketplaces like OpenSea and stuff is really, you know, help revolutionizing them and making it more accessible to the mainstream. So how was that, Michael? Did that give you a little bit of insight?
Yeah, thanks. I'm just the old man in the room, but it makes I get. I think it was well delivered. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when Pokemon though?
It's for sure it's coming. Somebody's gonna have the rights to it, and I mean, look at Tom Brady. He's partnered with I believe it was Topps and the NFT marketplace, and then look at Top Shot. It's getting your hardcore NBA fans. You know, there's a crazy LeBron dunk. You can own that on the blockchain. Only you and however many are minted. I mean, as crazy as it sounds, in a world where eventually you get a picture frame and you show off your NFTs, that crazy highlight dunk, it's you own that by the blockchain. So there's a lot of, you know, interesting things that will come. Still early, but it's cool development with what's happening and how fast it's developing.
So outside of the art application, what do you see being the most promising real world application that NFTs evolve into?
So this is a little bit more of a tinfoil hat, but I believe in the metaverse it's inevitable, and there's going to be a huge metaverse world. I don't know who's going to win the race. I'm not getting into that, but I see a world where, you know, look at VR, how far it's come in such a short time, but a time where people have a metaverse world. There's going to be digital properties. You're going to be able to live a digital life, and then NFTs integrate perfect in that because you can have all your NFTs in this digital world, and it makes so much sense. But you know, that's a little bit of a tinfoil hat. But on a smaller scale, I mean, people just like picture frames with Mona Lisa and art. Like you'll be able to have digital picture frames. You'll be able to have displays that show NFTs, and then I see, you know, like eBay for trading cards, but it's only going to grow with the more chains and everything that's coming. The projects are going to retain value, and there's going to be a lot of crazy things that come. And then with all the money that's being made by these projects, the ones that do legitimately care, they're going to build great things and they're going to reward their holders. It's going to come. So it's all, you know, skepticism or, not, or like forward thinking and just opinion because nobody really knows. But I think there will be a lot of value that comes from. A lot of people compare it to kind of like the ICOs of 2017, and I don't see that because there's a lot more intangible and tangible use cases that will arise. I mean, look at OpenSea; it's become a $1 billion company that just for trading NFTs in a very short span, and a lot of I think they just had a second funding round of like $2 billion. Like, and with that much money coming in, with that many eyes, and with the money being made, a lot of stuff has grown and happened really fast, and I only see it continuing.
Is it weird for me to think like ticketing and receipts and gift card kind of NFTs, you know, going to sports arena and your ticket's just an NFT and then you catalog it and you have a history of all the events that you've been through, come to my mind.
Yeah, no, I think it makes complete sense because how many scam tickets, you see people peddling tickets on the side of the road, all that. Well, if it's blockchain verifiable, you can, it cuts out, you know, the illegal third party markets of tickets and everything. You can trace where tickets came from, you can trace, you can prove it's yours, you can prove ownership. I mean, it can get as crazy as titles to cars. I mean,
I was
Right.
just gonna say that, you know, as far as like houses goes, like cars, you know, all these types of property
yeah,
that
with
could be streamlined through blockchain in that way.
it's almost like it makes too much sense because with the world getting digitalized, I mean, do you want a deed to your house and a piece of paper that you hope your house doesn't catch on fire and your safe doesn't get robbed? Or do you want it on your phone, on your secure wallet that proves it's yours and that your name is attached to it. So even if your wallet's compromised, it's still verifiably yours, and there's no transaction to prove it went elsewhere. So we're still early, and there's still a lot of things that will have to get hashed out. But how far we come so quickly, I mean, there's a lot of use cases that make sense. Besides, if you just ignore the pure art and you ignore all that, just what NFTs are, there's a lot that can be done with them.
So I'm just seeing now, we had a question quite a while earlier in the chat on the YouTube stream that I answered in chat, but maybe we'll go ahead and kick that around to the rest of the group. The question was from Ross Meyer asking, do you leave all of your Bitcoin, or I'm assuming whatever you hold, do you leave all of your assets on Voyager like I do for yield, he said. So what's your take on keeping all your eggs in one basket? And again, this is not financial advice, but just a curiosity from a listener.
I'll start it off, then we can let Stone Cold and Piggy kind of give their insight. I see it as you can never be too safe, and as nice as the interest is, the bigger your bag gets, I would always push to get your cold storage that you have the code written down and secure, nobody ever can get it, and have your safe haven in case the worst case scenario happens. But as if you don't have that crazy of a bag, I don't mind keeping it on a trusted platform like a Voyager. Not financial advice, but earning your interest and stuff. And as it grows, maybe your interest payment, move that to cold storage or something along that line, so you're securing some profit for the worst case scenario. But I definitely think as you're growing an account, collecting that interest is huge to scaling, how much you have. And as the price appreciate on these tokens, you're going to want to secure as much as you can. Cole, do you want to answer?
Yeah, I think Ross, he's a little bit of a whale too, so his situation might be a little different from the rest of ours. Personally, I have zero hesitation holding almost all my holdings on Voyager. I've seen almost every interview Steve has had, and security is basically the number one thing he's concerned about. And you see him, and when he talks about it, he's very firm about what that means to him, to the company. I do hold some StormX off platform, but that's strictly for the staking, since it's not currently on Voyager. It's not a security reason or an issue that I have.
Yeah, Piggy, what's your opinion on it? Then we can circle it back around to Michael.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I have a little bit in a hard wallet. Ledgers has been my go-to, and a lot of that was because I was getting a higher staking rate for a specific coin outside the Voyager platform than I would have in the platform. I think it's wise to, I don't know, again, I would agree, have a little bit just put away for a rainy day. But especially if you're starting to feel uncomfortable about how much you do have on platform, you obviously have the two-factor security, on platform, but you can also reach out to the service team and say, listen, I want you to basically lock my account from being allowing transactions out of it, especially if you're going to be holding long term. Just reach out to the Voyager, say, hey, I want extra security on this. I don't want to have anything be transferred out of there. And I've seen them on Twitter accommodate people with that. So if you want to go the extra step and you're going to be holding stuff on Voyager for multiple bull runs or however long, 10 years, 20 years down the line, then make that call, make that switch. Yeah, it may be a pain in the ass when you do want to try to get something off the platform, but at least you're safe.
Yeah, so Michael, kind of what's your opinion on it?
So just being an OPSEC paranoia guy, no, I don't keep everything in one place. The Bitcoiner me, when asked that question of where you keep all your assets, likes the knee-jerk reaction of saying, like, nice try, NSA. Next question. But the generic answer is no. I don't keep all my assets in one place, not out of lack of trust or Voyager, just out of a innate Sicilian paranoia. Let's just put it that way. So I do agree wholeheartedly with what Piggy just said, because that's been Steve's recommendation to a number of people that I've spoken to him about, and I've heard Steve make that pitch in person to a number of people at some of these functions. That like, look, if your bag is getting big, a lot of people think you want to go up on a daily withdrawal limit. Personally, I'd recommend you bring it down to 0, because you don't want to be able to be vulnerable in case of anything. So I've seen him make that pitch to a number of people, bringing the daily withdrawal limit down to 0 as a way of securing the account. And he said that there's a number of people on platform that do that. And I think that it's something that may not sound intuitive to most people, but there is an added security feature past just password protection in 2FA. And just on the OPSEC front, I think everybody should be making sure that they're using 2FA, and everybody should be using a password manager, hopefully with some source of entropy with a password that is only used for that platform. And we can go down that rabbit hole for a whole nother spaces at some point. But I think everybody should just be following best practices to make sure that their accounts are secure.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Floki, what's your opinion on that?
Sign out of your accounts when you travel. Don't mess around. I'm old school. I said it last time. I wouldn't be on my phone unless I absolutely had to for Voyager. I cannot wait for the desktop application. Better safe than sorry. I think it's wise. If you're an investor, lock it up. Have some foresight is when you need to unlock it. And based off of the response times that I've been seeing, response time stories that I've been seeing in the community, I would imagine Voyager will be able to help you out pretty quickly. So
yeah, good question. Good conversation.
Don't trust other Wi-Fis. Don't trust them.
Yeah, I agree. Especially when you're traveling, if unsecured network Wi-Fi you connect to it, you're vulnerable to everything you have and your phone being compromised. So definitely turn the auto connect off, and just better be safe than sorry, especially in crypto. As transparent and as no middleman, and it's not as nice as that is, you're open to the risk. And kind of tag on to something we saw and mentioned last week on OPSEC is, so on Twitter, the bots are terrible. If you ever have any issue and you mention MetaMask or Trust Wallet, there's 10 bots that will come and, hey, I'm so and so support, DM me, and they'll ask for your hidden QR code. Never do that. Never talk to anybody about anything. Never show anything. Even on transactions, I wouldn't even show transaction numbers. Like if you want to show buys, that's fine, or account balances. I know that stresses Michael out, but that's not that big of a deal to me-ish, depending size. But never show transaction history or anything that can give your specific account away, because you're just opening yourself up to a lot of risk with that. That's not really worth it at all. So just always be safe. Anybody's like, you have some concerns about it, reach out, ask questions, get proof. And it never hurts to annoy somebody double checking than losing everything over trusting somebody blindly. But we're at a nice point here. Just shout out Crypto Airborne. He's live streaming this live on Twitter on YouTube. So if you missed any of it or just want to rewatch at any point, it's going to be posted afterwards, and it's live right now. Appreciate everybody that's in here. Shout out VGX Hero Twitter page. Give them a follow. We're trying to push all our community posts through there. Check out our Discord. We have something like probably 15 channels of all different conversation types. And get some great insight. We're trying to build a community over there. Shout out our art team. You can scroll down and see all the different art on some of our heroes already, and it's so amazing. They kill it. Thanks the charting guys. Thanks everybody in the community that's helped grow. But we got another 35 minutes. If you have any questions, feel free to request up here.
But it's 100 time right now. After that statement, it's 100 time. Hundreds all around.
Thanks, my friend.
The artwork. As I said earlier, we don't have a Facebook group or anything like that yet, but we do have the Instagram. Not as popular, but it's the same handle, VGX_heroes. If you're just interested in checking out all the artwork, we're kind of cataloging everything there. It's just, purely everything that Duke, UT Snake Eyes, Captain Sulu, the whole art team, everything they've created, we're putting there to kind of showcase what they've done. So it's worth checking out, even, if you're just scrolling through just to see it all.
Yeah, and I would also add doing my best to catalog it as well in a Google Drive of mine. So if you go to the hero list link on some of our accounts, the top row of that Google sheet will give you access to the storage folder where you could just see them all to download at one place if that's more convenient for you. But doing my best to keep up to date. I know I'm behind a little bit, but I'll keep it up.
Yeah, shout out Floki. I mean, from the beginning, he's been grinding out. But just tagging on that, we've had a lot of good conversations. So for anybody new in here, anybody that just potentially hasn't heard it, I know you get tired of saying it, but could you give a little VGX history and just kind of a little bit about that? VGX Heroes history, not VGX, sorry.
I'd like to hand that off to somebody else, to be honest. I'd be curious to hear other people's perspectives, maybe like what it means to them if anybody wants to step up and tell their perspective.
Yeah, would definitely love to hear somebody new, some of our heroes that are, in here a lot. Feel free. It's a good time to come up and just maybe share your story or just say, your positives, negatives, anything like that. We'd love to hear from you. But
in the meantime, can I ask the panel a question?
Shoot it.
What the hell happened with Solana this week?
I can start off. So, in all transparency, I'm not a big Solana investor. I'm more of a ADA ecosystem investor on kind of the ETH competitors. But I read up on it a little bit. So what happened was they got up to 400,000 transactions per second, and that amount of pure pressure on the system started shutting nodes off, some of the individual nodes, and with the overload, it was congesting and slowing down the system. So all the node holders or owners, however you like to classify them, they kind of came together and said we need to do a forced shutdown. So they shut the system down and then did a restart, but I believe it's about a 7-hour shutdown. And it brings up an interesting conversation of how centralized, decentralized things are, and how easy these systems can be. I mean, Sol, it blew up very quickly. It came from nowhere very quickly. So these are some early growing pains and potential concerns you can have with these. Everybody loves to hate on ETH for the gas fees, but it's been around a long time and it's survived a lot of growing pains. So it just kind of goes to show, don't always expect these to be validator just by cranking up your computer and getting on a software that does that. But Sol, they have a system where you have to apply to be a node runner. So it's just a new project. It's just what potentially can happen with them. Yeah, it's starting to get everybody back in here. It's unfortunate. Good old Twitter rugging us. They don't want to see us succeeding.
Sorry about that, guys. I don't. It was just a random crash. So thank you all for coming back.
Dude, you're good. It happened to me several times when I was hosting. It's Twitter's fault, not yours.
Perfect. Aragorn's back in here now, so we can invite him and peer pressure him to talk VGX Heroes. So come on up here, bud. You're put on the spot. Don't make us sit up here quiet.
I deferred speaking about heroes. I'd like to hear other people's perspective and story that were back in the trenches in early June, early July.
Well, I'm only VGX Hero 10, so I'll let Aragorn talk on it.
Whew. Oh man, catch me up to speed, somebody, just a little bit. Like literally hopping right in. Been with family for the past 10 hours, and now I'm like, what's happened?
we just been talking questions, and we haven't talked much on the VGX Heroes at all, besides kind of the social media and the Discord. So I asked Floki we kind of beat this down, but as we get new people in and just people curious, kind of like the history or your perspective on the heroes.
Yeah. Woo. Well, I'm just gonna go stream of thought. Whatever comes out of my mouth is gonna come out. So yeah, I would say just the history part of it. Man, ever since Floki and I have met, we've realized that we're two sides of the same coin. And I kid you not, we probably disagree and agree on just the same amount of topics. But it's so beautiful because we see the point of heroes through that, right? And so when we see like the Biffies, or when we see anybody on one side of the pendulum, and then we see people on the other, I see that represented in Floki and I. So it's actually the beauty of the whole spectrum of heroes, and that it isn't this one stereotype, right? And so, man, when I'm seeing people labeling heroes this or labeling heroes that, and it's not that easy. Like people focus on maybe who's the loudest, right? And so that's had me questioning. It's like, well, do some of us need to be more vocal then? And it's like, I don't think it should really be that. And it's just kind of the internet days we live in, right? Like you can't please everybody, and the quiet ones that probably do have the most wisdom and maybe would be the best leaders, they may just not be the face of the organization, or of the community. But that's just reality. Often you get painted by whoever's the loudest, and people interpret that however they please. So, man, let me just tell you, it's been frustrating, like to some extent. But then I've also been amazingly proud of some of you heroes out there, how you have continued educating people, loving them in the midst of all kinds of uncertainty and such. So rather than focus on, should we do this, should we do that, how can we tweak it, how can we make it better, some of us are wired to think like that, and that's okay. Some of us, when adversity hits, we kind of knuckle down, and we think efficiency. How can we be better? And then there are others of us that, man, when times get tough, they just want a friend. So Pepe, like, he's just gonna friend, right? And we need those people. Man, some others, when adversity hits, they're gonna fight it tooth and claw, and like there's space for that as well. And so we just need to have grace for one another. Goodness gracious. I mean, we we can try to stick to 3 pillars, community, education, governance. It only takes us so far, though. We are each our own unique hero, and nothing can ever take that away from us. So that's just kind of what came to mind right away. So I'll let someone else chime in if they have any sounding boards off of that. But that was my heart right there. You got it. Raw.
Thanks, sir. That was
100.
amazing. That was
100.
amazing. I'll just kind of tag on my perspective. You know, I joined this community. I think I had 30 followers, and now I'm at like 600 plus. It's been a crazy journey. I'm Hero 10, and I was right there with, you know, I saw Maximus and Floki doing daily buys, and you doing daily buys, and I was like, I mean, I like the coin. I mean, I'm buying it daily. Let me throw mine in there with them, and it started with such a small idea of just like-minded people, and then, you know, I met Michael. Me and Michael were like the same person that's just, you know, 20 years apart. And, you know, I go to me and Michael have gone to crypto things together, and Aragorn's gone with us, and it's crazy because I started off as just, I'm a younger guy. I'm 23, but, you know, crypto is my passion. I spend my free time researching, and I would just be sitting in spaces obtaining knowledge, and I just couldn't really talk with anybody. Like, people in my real life, like, I have a group message but I'm the far most knowledgeable, and that's not a negative thing. It's just I'm somebody it's what I'm interested in, so I try to, you know, inform them. But it's been so nice to have a community of just everybody's so intelligent in different things, and, you know, you find people that you would have never otherwise met. And me and Mike are only an hour apart, and now we'll just spend time just talking through the most random crypto stuff. And it's just, you know, found a community that it's so nice, just people that are like-minded and also have different opinions but are also super sophisticated. So it's just been a crazy time, just a few months. So much has happened, and, you know, I'm just super grateful for it all.
Yeah, I would say as far as the diversity within the community, you know, just not even the personalities or any of the high school bullshit that plays out on Twitter, but in the crypto space, it's such a tribal space that to get a platform that offers 60-something different assets that give people 60-something different tribes to be part of, and to all kind of coalesce in VGX Heroes and get along, not only get along, but like actually benefit one another. Like, I could be a Bitcoiner, Crypto Airborne could be a Cardano guy. We could break balls over the two all day long, but at the end of the day, when I've got Cardano questions, I go to him. And if he's got Bitcoin questions, I would expect him to come to me. And it's still a beneficial relationship that is really so unique in the space. And even referring back to what Pepe was just talking about, as far as, you know, we met last week. We went to a crypto meetup in the Orlando area. And it should have been a similar vibe to what we've got going on here in Heroes, because it was kind of a come one, come all. Nobody's going to judge. Nobody's going to tell you shitcoiner. Nobody's going to tell you that Bitcoin is boomer coin. And it was just a bunch of fucking weirdos. And it was like it made you truly value what we've got going on here, because it was so not this vibe, so not this dynamic. It was we still ended up like becoming our own little group at that event, just as a defense mechanism, because like, this is weird, I'm never coming to this again. Even though like it just didn't have that same magic that VGX Heroes has had, even though it occupies the same space with a similar agenda and a similar motive. There is something unique and special about the way it's come together in Heroes.
Man, so many people at these functions and things are like, man, you guys are organized. And I was like, yeah, we are, kind of, in a way. Like, so you work after, no matter how many times we explain that we're just part of the community. So they're like, so how long you been working for Voyager? And it's like, well, like, I know we come across like that, but no, we're just members of the community, and it doesn't make sense to people, right? They ask like, well, how, like, what, why, you know, and that just opens the door for the why, right? And that can branch into so many beautiful conversations from there. From that specific meetup that Michael and Pepe, I've already gotten two to look into VGX Heroes. And if nothing else, I shared an email with them that shared our educational resources because they wanted to get started into crypto. You know, so I think it's about letting VGX Heroes be your launching pad for making crypto just a part of your regular everyday life. You know, because more and more we're going to be given these opportunities for crypto adoption and talking with random people, strangers, friends, family, you know, so this can just be the beginning. So Like use VGX Heroes as maybe your family that you need, but then like grow your wings. Begin looking for those opportunities to share what you've learned, what you've felt, as a part of this community, and offer that to someone else, even if it's just as simple as sharing an email with resources.
Yeah, that's one thing I love too is as the Discord is growing, it's at the very baseline, we're all here for crypto and investing and whatnot, but we also have the opportunity to break away from that into gaming, sports, movies, etc. It's like we don't have to be all crypto all the time. It's our common interest, but we can go beyond that and connect with each other in ways that you can make friends and build relationships and stuff like that. So that's one thing I definitely appreciate.
I think we're just at the beginning of that too, because it wasn't that long ago that we didn't even have those channels and stuff. So yeah, I'm excited definitely for more of the creative minds to build out that space, because let me just tell you, I default to being a workaholic, right? I need those fun friends around me to build out that space. So appreciate you fun people.
Yeah, just to have the opportunity and to have the choice to be like, all right, well, okay, I can join this channel and there's a bunch of people who are into this stuff and also crypto. It's like it's I don't know. We're doing something right. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, I think one way that I'll put it in our ideas channel or whatever later. I think we can begin rotating advertising things like that. Like, hey, have you joined our Discord lately? Here's what our sports channel has been up to, or things like that, because otherwise people will just default to thinking that we're crypto only, so there's so many ideas rotating announcements and stuff that we can do through the Heroes Twitter page. So
Yeah, and we got a UT Snake Eyes who, I mean, he kind of controls the equities channel now. Which, yeah, we have an equities channel, but I give him a shout out every week for this. But I mean, he's somebody that's paid by Discords to share his information, and this is the same guy that's when he's not doing that, he's in our channel giving us the heads up, giving us the same pointers that these people are paying him to do. And then he comes in when he's through with that and making artwork all night for us. So we just got people that are just so devoted and just love the community so much that just devote so much of their free time. And I mean, none of us are getting paid for this. And how far it's come and how dedicated people are is just truly shows that we're building something special.
Yeah, I'd say we're all united. The one common factor that we have is support for Voyager and VGX, and we celebrate all of the other differences together because we're stronger together. We're all here to make some money, so let's do it together, huh?
Yeah, definitely so. And just a tweet that Steve made while we've been live is we hit 2 million accounts on Voyager. That's another huge milestone. To think how far we were. I mean, just a year ago, I think it was Q4 of 2020, we were at 50,000 funded accounts, and now to be over 2 million verified, funded or not, that's still people that have the app, still have accounts. And I mean, we saw our first two big advertisements over the past week, and we've grown so much. I mean, when national marketing campaigns and all the future markets, whenever they come, whenever NASDAQ comes, when all these other things come, I mean, we built a strong foundation community that can help support that growth. And I mean, there's just big things to come. And for the token to not even be, I mean, it's not even $3, and a lot of us came in over $4. It's for everybody to still be so dedicated. And yeah, we have our moments of getting tired of looking at the price and stuff, but our time's coming. And just I appreciate everybody that stayed patient, that's just hunkered down. They know what they have. They believe in the team. They believe in Steve. I mean, Steve's he's a good one. We got a good one. I mean, he's good at talking to people. He's good at marketing. He's got a financial background. He's he started the company right with regulation in mind. Like he's done everything the right way, and that will eventually catch up. Not financial advice, but I can guarantee it.
And I think the thing that's just been, it's kind of my mantra of life, but it just keeps popping up. And again, all of us handle pressure differently. How I handle pressure is I think, what can I control? What do I control? And there's so many things in life that, let's just face it, guys, are out of our control, right? And some of us, that means we get bitter about it, right? Some others, they buckle down, they focus a little bit harder, and they become kind of workaholics. Then there are those others that are like, it's kind of fine. We'll just kind of grit and get through it. And so there's going to be the whole spectrum. We can't force anybody into one line of thinking. And as soon as you try to get a person on your emotional wavelength, you've already lost them. So meet them where they're at. And if you can't meet them where they're at, just like move on, maybe. Or or those of us that want to friend, maybe just tag one of those, just tag Pepe and be like, hey, this buddy needs a friend, whatever, and just like throw a gif out there. Like realize what each and every one of our strengths is, right? And then just play to that, because that is what is in our control.
Yeah, and that's very true. I mean, as my account's grown, I get a little bit more interactions, but if you throw a comment, tag somebody, and just put, anything to kind of entice me, I love to just get on a freaking meme and gif off. That's where it came from. It's what I like to do. I like to be lighthearted. I like to friend. There's too much negativity in the world. I believe in positivity. Make the world a better place. Because in the end, everybody's trying to tear each other down, bring everything down. There's no fun in that. I mean, getting in arguments and stuff, all it does is just piss both sides off. So, not everybody's perfect. Things happen, but just try and stay as positive. If you don't like somebody's opinion, just, it happens. So,
Yeah, and I'd like to reinforce the whole we're imperfect. Like on top of our pillars, two things I'd like to add is, accountability and forgiveness. Like I take full accountability for saying things that I probably shouldn't say and going overboard because I'm imperfect and I'm an emotional human being. But there's almost comfort knowing that I have people with other perspectives and other mindsets that I'm close with to help reel me back in, and if not immediately, challenge me to reflect on it later to grow. So yeah, I hope you all could forgive me for my transgressions, and I'm going to continue growing. And I think that's what VGX Heroes is really all about, is feeling safe to fail, whether that's, in some sort of financial strategy or social strategy, right? We're all here for each other. And that's, I think is really important.
definitely so. Just a quick shield. I have a giveaway going. I just pinned it at the top if you want to enter in that. It's NFT, Cloudy Punks. Feel free to. You don't care about NFTs or anything, ignore it. But I am doing it, so might as well throw that up there.
I already got it for free. Thanks. I right-clicked Save As.
All right, congrats on that. But yeah. I agree. I mean, this community, we've had I appreciate everybody, every single hero. If you just post, generic tweets, I appreciate you. And if you're heavily involved, I appreciate you. So Savage is jumping up here to get some input from him. Give him just a second. Hey, Savage, how are you?
And I appreciate all of the input that you guys have put in. I just want to say, first time, long time. I really do look forward to this community and this the conversation that you guys have, because I've been in for a little over a year on Voyager, and I've found that this community, it's amazing, that meteoric rise that we had, and then that fall that we had. You get to see a large amount of emotion, and it was kind of funny. I was I'm buying at 20 cents, and I was buying at $7, and so I got to see y'all, and I feel for the community, but we got to support each other, and I'm so glad. When first time I saw, I think it was Floki that put me on, the heroes, and I was like, what the hell is this? And all of a sudden, after, a month, we have a community. And after 2 months, it's like, holy cow, you guys are just driving this. And I am kind of a sideline type of, participator here. I just enjoy the community, and hopefully can, in later months and later years, continue to contribute in a more significant way. But I just want to say I respect you guys, and I appreciate you. And with this Voyager that we have to go, and the team that we have, it's a long road haul. We all want it to go, to 30, $50, whatever. This is a ship that we're on, and it is going to be something that we're going to continue to ride for a long period of time and get a lot of benefit from riding it. It's a good thing to be on. It's just, it might be slower than what we want it to be, but I just, I want to encourage, and this is a very positive and productive group. I appreciate that I'm on some, Voyager groups that are very toxic at the moment, and that's sad to see. So anytime that you can bring some positivity to it, I appreciate it. So that's all I wanted to say, guys. I just thank you for your time. Thanks for doing this. Totally respect it. And, we'll just keep going on. And I can't wait to have a time where we can go rock it out together, do some fun things and activities, and not have to worry about all the things going on, and just enjoy our community. So respect to all y'all.
Thanks for
Randy. Randy Macho Man Savage, dude, your gifts were absolute fire. It was impossible not to notice as soon as you showed up. So thanks for being a part of the community, man. I appreciate what you say.
Man, I appreciate that. And yeah, man, the gifts, I mean, how can you beat them? They're savage.
Savage.
Oh yeah, can I get
Exactly,
an oh yeah?
man. That's what I love about the community. I mean, you could be having a bad day, and you just come on Twitter, and most people, they come on crypto Twitter, and it's just toxicity and just all kind of negative, just dissing each other and all this and that. Communities fighting. But you come to, especially if you go to our hero tab, our feature list. I mean, it's just people talking Voyager, joking with each other. I mean, we've built so many friendships that, I always messing around with Aragorn, Michael, and Maximus and stuff. So, we just built some great relationships within. And it's been a crazy ride. Excited to see the future.
I flew across the country to meet VGX heroes. This shit is real. It's awesome. It's a family if that's how you treat it.
Definitely so. Highlander, you hopped up here. You got some comments for us?
Yeah, I want to thank you so much for having this. I find it nice to be able to talk to a community of like-minded individuals who all have a interest in Voyager. I've been with Voyager for over a year. I've been watching it very closely. I have really no choice since Retro Lenny is my brother, and he's been very, very positive on Voyager, and of course, getting involved with it. I'm not as positive as he is all the time. He's got a way about himself that just makes everybody follow along, and I've known him for all my life, so I can tell you that sometimes everything he's right on target, and sometimes he's not. So, and he's been into the world of the stock market, and understanding the community a lot better than I. That's not my area of expertise, and he's done a great job. He's been a great spokesman and help to this community as well. So he got me involved, and I got another about 50 people involved. He's probably got few hundred people involved. And we think very highly of what Steve is doing. It's amazing how fast things have grown in the last year. It's been an impressive ride, riding it up the way we have, and watching it fall as it was probably overvalued. And as things come to fruition, I expect that this project will be a leader and something that everybody will want to follow. And we're very, very early. I mean, we're so early in the space. People don't. I mean, if you take a look at the volume on Voyager, we're the lowest volume coin. We're just not that visible yet, and that's great for all of us because we're in it early. And the things that once we get the debit card out, once we get the hell, we're not in even we're just in the U.S. We don't even have New York yet. Once we get California, once we get Canada, once we get Europe, all these partnerships that they've created, with the with Europe and the LGO swap happening, and going ahead and adding on to Canada. Half these people who are getting involved can't even partake in the staking that we're able to do on Voyager. So there's just so much that is coming down the pipeline. Now, I think everybody's a little bit zealous as far as the predictions. I would love it to hit 30, $50 like everybody thinks, and as well as the stock, because I think the stock's going to go go great as well. But I watch this community. I watch how everybody is on board. They've gotten me involved in it, who I rarely, I didn't even know what Twitter was till about a year ago. So, watching you younger folk, and I'm a little bit older, get involved with Twitter and being able to move VGX along has been just remarkable. So kudos to all of you guys. I didn't even know what following was. I think Floki sent me a follow. I didn't even know what it was. And next thing you know, everybody's following me and I'm following them. And it's a great thing. So I appreciate you guys getting me involved. I'm now reviewing the Discord channel. I talked to, Alex Massioli, who's been wonderful and a great guy to communicate with, and a lot of other very big VGX supporters. It's always nice to talk directly to Steve. He really understands and knows and enjoys our community and what we bring. And he really respects that. You don't get that from any other CEO. He which days he's having a hard day, because he might not always be as kind as he is all the time, but he has to take a lot of FUD. He has to take a lot of criticism, and sometimes these timetables are hard to meet, especially with the SEC regulations that they're trying to meet up with. So I think it's a great. Everything's great. Don't want to take up much more time for everybody, but thank you for allowing me to participate tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming up here. That was amazing, and yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, once again, thanks for that. That was amazing.
100s for Randy, Macho Man Savage, and Highlander, please.
But yeah, we're at the 11 o'clock Eastern hour, so we're going to go ahead and wrap it down. Once again, if you missed any part of it, you can catch it on Crypto Airborne's YouTube channel. Follow VGX Hero Twitter page. The Discord link is in that. Mine, Floki's. The hero list is in mine, Floki's, and I believe the VGX Hero as well. Definitely interact on Twitter. If anytime you see anybody comment, feel free to comment on anybody. They would love to, just go back and forth, all about positivity, just get them followers up, follow everybody. We're doing some great things here. Excited to see where it goes. Michael, you got any final words? Get final words from Piggy and everybody else, and we can wrap it up.
Sure. Yeah, I was thinking about leaving everybody this week with a little piece of homework. If everybody could just do me one favor. If your password for stuff like Voyager is some combination of your birth date or where you had your first kiss or your dog's name or anything like that, please, please, for the love of Christ, research things like LastPass and Bitwarden. Find a good password manager that you trust, download it, and use it, please. That's all I got for this week.
My final comment, I would challenge everyone here to introduce one person to Voyager or crypto, preferably both, and see if you can just get one person in your life that is important to you to join this financial revolution.
Absolutely. We'll move it over to Piggy, then we'll get Aragorn and let Floki close it off.
Oh man, I don't have homework or suggestions for you guys other than just hang in there and reach out to the community when you need them. We love you. We're happy to have you guys here, and we're happy that so many of you guys choose to spend your time with us, once a week in this platform. And encourage more of you to come up and speak. We don't bite.
All right, Aragorn.
Yeah, I would say, man, lately I've been having to think a whole lot about, due to some work challenges and things, think about my mental health. And I don't think that's something to be overlooked, especially when you're considering finances, a tumultuous year, so on and so forth. And when we think each and every one of us know or is probably in VGX for the long haul, so we also have to think about how we interact as a community. How can you be your healthiest self long term? So I just want to throw that out there as a challenge. I know it's a challenge for myself, and all the way trickle down. How does that affect me on a daily basis? What do I need to do? Do I need to engage more? Do I need a little separation? So it's just a little bit of food for thought.
And Floki, take us home.
Man, I would just encourage everybody to step up their gift game, man. Let's fill this Twitter world with some color and some fun. Everybody on the panel has said some wonderful things to follow and think about. And in the words of Maximus, strength and honor.
Let's get some hundreds, then we're going to wrap this up.
Strength and honor, baby.
All right, guys, we'll catch you next week. We'll keep you posted on the time. This time was a pretty good one, I feel like, so we might stick with this, but we might run a poll or something to kind of gauge everybody's opinion on that. But once again, appreciate everybody that stopped by. Appreciate every hero. You want to get more involved, reach out. You want to just keep chilling on Twitter, that's absolutely fine. Thanks again for every single one of y'all. We appreciate y'all. See y'all next week.
See you guys.
And catch the movie night this Friday, if you'd like.
Big Lebowski.
Big Lebowski, 9:30 p.m. Eastern in the Discord.
Sweet.